In recent years, the world has witnessed the emergence of a new kind of Cold War, one not fought with missiles or armies, but with technology and innovation as its weapons of choice. At the very heart of this conflict lies the semiconductor, the tiny chip that powers everything from smartphones to supercomputers, and even the most advanced military systems. The United States, holding the keys to the world's most sophisticated chip technology, took a bold step to slow China's rapid technological ascent. By blocking access to cutting-edge AI chips like NVIDIA's A100 and H100, which are crucial for artificial intelligence and data centers. This was far more than a simple trade dispute. It was a calculated strategic blockade, designed to protect American dominance in the global tech arena and to keep China from catching up. When the U.S. imposed sweeping export controls in October 2022, the shockwaves were immediate and profound. Chinese tech companies suddenly found themselves cut off from the lifeblood of modern innovation, critical American hardware and software. Washington's bet was that China would struggle to replicate the intricate global supply chain required to produce high-performance chips, and that it would take years, if not decades, to catch up. But instead of stalling progress, the sanctions ignited a massive, coordinated response across China. The government, private companies and research institutions all rallied together, pouring resources into achieving technological self-sufficiency. What began as a desperate scramble to adapt soon transformed into a full-scale national mission. China was now determined to achieve chip independence, no matter the cost or the obstacles ahead. Ironically, the U.S. gambit, intended to slow China's technological rise, ended up accelerating the growth of China's domestic semiconductor industry, fueling innovation and investment at an unprecedented pace. The very policy designed to contain China's ambitions became the spark that ignited its relentless sprint toward technological independence, setting the stage for a new era in the global chip war. Blocked from the world's best chips, China didn't try to copy them overnight. It pivoted. Instead of a few elite processors, China built AI supercomputers with tens of thousands of good-enough homegrown chips. The focus shifted from single-chip performance to the collective power of massive clusters. The challenge became engineering high-speed interconnects and software to make these clusters work as one. China's strength, scale, speed, and state funding, not just chip design. The government backed this approach with subsidies and a protected market for domestic hardware. This brute force strategy turned a disadvantage into a new paradigm: distributed power and massive parallelism. While the West chased ever better chips, China embraced volume and infrastructure. It's less elegant but remarkably effective. By changing the rules, China kept its AI ambitions alive, turning a blockade into a hurdle it could overcome. At the heart of China's pivot is Huawei. Hit hard by U.S. sanctions, Huawei reinvented itself, pouring resources into semiconductors. The result, the Ascend 910C AI chip, mass-produced since 2025, now central to China's AI hardware. While not matching NVIDIA's top chips, the 910C competes with the downgraded H20 chips allowed in China. Huawei built not just a chip, but an entire ecosystem, hardware and software, to rival NVIDIA's CUDA. Its Cloud Matrix 384 system links hundreds of Ascend chips, matching U.S. systems through sheer scale and smart engineering. Huawei's transformation from target to national champion lets Chinese tech giants keep advancing without U.S. tech. The company's resilience has given China a path to tech independence. U.S. policy meant to cripple Huawei instead forged a formidable competitor. China's brute force chip strategy demands enormous electricity. Running vast clusters of less efficient chips is only possible because of China's massive, low-cost energy build-out. China leads the world in solar, wind, and is rapidly expanding nuclear power, driving down electricity costs. Cheap state-planned energy makes power-hungry data centers viable, something few other countries can match. The government further supports AI data centers with energy discounts and subsidies, absorbing the cost penalty of less efficient hardware. This ensures energy costs don't undermine China's AI ambitions. While the world obsesses over chip specs, China's energy dominance is a hidden advantage. By making electricity abundant and cheap, China has turned a potential weakness into a strength. Powering its digital ambitions is as crucial as making the chips themselves. U.S. export controls were a double-edged sword, wielded with the intent to slow China's technological rise, but carrying consequences far beyond their original aim. While these restrictions cut China off from the world's most advanced chips, they also dealt a heavy blow to American tech giants like NVIDIA, which suddenly lost access to a massive, fast-growing market and saw billions in potential revenue evaporate almost overnight. The resulting vacuum in the Chinese market was quickly filled by ambitious local competitors, eager to seize the opportunity and meet surging domestic demand. With no access to U.S. technology, China found itself at a crossroads. The only viable path forward was to double down on radical self-sufficiency, investing heavily in research, development, and talent to close the gap. The sanctions provided both political cover and a sense of urgency, fueling a massive state-backed push to build a world-class semiconductor industry from the ground up. What might have taken decades under normal circumstances was compressed into just a few years, as China poured resources into factories, research labs, and supply chains. By 2025, the U.S. relented slightly, allowing sales of downgraded chips. But by then, China's domestic chip ecosystem was already deeply entrenched, with homegrown companies supplying much of the nation's needs. Chinese firms, now wary of relying on U.S. suppliers, chose to stick with their own solutions, prioritizing security and independence over foreign technology. The episode stands as a powerful lesson in unintended consequences. U.S. policy not only weakened its own companies but also strengthened China's resolve and accelerated its progress. Sanctions meant to stifle China's ambitions instead created a protected market for Chinese chipmakers, fueling the rapid rise of a powerful independent industry that now competes on the global stage. In the end, the attempt to slow China's progress only sped up its technological independence, reshaping the global semiconductor landscape in ways few could have predicted. American sanctions triggered explosive growth in China's semiconductor industry, forcing the country to accelerate its technological ambitions and invest heavily in homegrown innovation. What was once seen as a distant goal, chip self-sufficiency, became a national priority almost overnight. In 2024, China's integrated circuit sales topped $201 billion, an achievement that would have seemed unthinkable just a few years ago. This surge reflects not only increased production, but also a dramatic rise in domestic demand and technological capability. Domestic chips now meet about 50% of China's demand, up from just 13.5% in 2013. This rapid progress has been fueled by massive government support, strategic investments, and a relentless drive to close the technology gap. Chinese firms like HiSilicon and SMIC are now global players, rapidly expanding across the supply chain and forging new partnerships to secure critical technologies. Universities and startups are also joining the race, training new talent and launching innovative projects to strengthen China's chip ecosystem. Even in manufacturing and packaging, Chinese companies have secured top global positions, building a robust supply chain that rivals established players. SMIC's ability to make 7nm chips with older tech proved China could innovate around blockades, demonstrating resilience and technical ingenuity in the face of restrictions. Now, SEMIIC is pushing toward 5nm, closing the gap with global leaders and signaling that China's ambitions extend to the very cutting edge of chip technology. Domestic AI chips, led by Huawei, are set to capture over half the Chinese market by 2027, powering everything from smartphones to data centers and fueling the next wave of digital transformation. U.S. sanctions, meant to create a permanent gap, instead fostered a rival ecosystem growing at breakneck speed, with China now challenging the global status quo in semiconductors. China isn't just surviving the chip war, it's building the industrial base to win it, determined to shape the future of global technology on its own terms. The chip war has fractured the global tech landscape. Two parallel, often incompatible ecosystems are emerging, one led by the US and its allies, the other by China. The US bloc will keep pushing the performance frontier, dominating high-end markets. China's sphere, anchored by Huawei and SMIC, prioritizes security, resilience, and cost-effectiveness. Chinese tech is gaining traction across the developing world, offering affordable, good-enough solutions free from US political strings. The era of universal standards is ending. Companies must now navigate two tech stacks. This raises costs, complicates innovation, and forces developers to pick sides. The chip war, once a targeted policy, is now reshaping the global economy. We're witnessing the construction of a digital iron curtain, with silicon at its core. The fight for chip supremacy has created two separate technological worlds,